And let's get on to Facebook. Oh, yes. It says, am I live? Let me see. Let's go find Janome Canada's page. I love it. You know, we just have to. Oh, yes, it looks like I'm live. Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. Hello. I always like to double check.
I love it.
Volume.
You know, we just have to.
Yep.
Oh, yes, it looks like I'm live. Okay, perfect.
It's always, you know, I've been doing these lives for like, since the beginning of the pandemic. So, 2.5 years or so, but I'm always amazed. Oh, yes, it's working. It's so good because, I'm not the best. When it comes to sewing, I'm not bad with technology. But when it comes to things that are not sewing related, I'm like, I'm not the best with technology. But, and I am so glad I see there's already, we're like 18 people already in. Lovely. Oh, and Helene is here. Lovely. And Tammy. Yes, hello. Thank you everyone so much for joining us here at 3:30. This is our usual day of our Sew4Home Janome Canada Lives. But again, today we had to move it back a little bit till 3:30. So I'm so glad that you all saw those posts on our social media and our Janome Life blog, and then are here to join us today. Oh, lovely. Yes. Susan says, good day, Liz and Michael and Karen from Victoria, BC. Oh, lovely. Fantastic. Oh, yes. And so Karen is on the West Coast, as is our fabulous Liz Johnson. So, yes, that is good. Oh, from Thunder Bay. Betty is here from Thunder Bay. Excellent. Yes, again, this is the wonderful thing about technology, then at least then why I love trying to embrace it and learn more about all these lives and everything is, again, how can we share the Janome love and the love of sewing, to a broader audience. So this is really the great thing about technology here. Oh, wonderful. Oh, and from Quebec, how fabulous. And Vancouver, Washington. Oh my gosh, I love it. Lovely. Hello, everyone. It is great to see you all. So yes. Oh, and we're already up close to 40. So that is great. Again, I'm so glad that you all were able to tune in to our not usual time today. But next month when we do our live, we'll be back at our usual 3 o'clock time slot unless something else happens, because sometimes life happens. So we just try to roll with it. But thank you all for joining us today. So now I see on the clock, yes, it is 3:31. So I shall get started. I was looking on the clock on my fabulous CM17, I love having a sewing machine with a clock because I need to stay on time. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I am Michael Smith, the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada, and back from my palatial estate for another Janome Canada Facebook Live with our fabulous Liz Johnson from Sew4Home. So let's bring her on. Let's see if I remember how to do all this special camera work. And there she is. Yay!
That. Once again, and I will take full responsibility for us being slightly delayed today. That was totally my fault because I am unable to count. And I thought the third Thursday was next Thursday. So anyway.
It's that whole spring forward time change. It messed everybody up.
I lost like
blame it on that. Yes. Yes. So
But
it's fabulous to be back here live with you again, because once again, you've got some fabulous sneak peeks of some fun projects coming up.
I do. And if you were with us last month, we did a little sneak peek of our boxy canvas tote, which is up and good to go on Janome.com, Janome Canada. So make sure that you check that out. That's a really fun project. We've got a lot of great feedback on it already. So this time around, we've gone to table linens, and we have a set of octagonal placemats. So normally if you do a placemat, I would say probably 90% of them are either square or they're rectangular, or maybe if you're really going to go out on a limb, you might do a circle. But we decided, Sew4Home, we're never going to be able to just do the traditional. So we went with an octagonal shape, and the title that you'll look for when these do post for free on Janome Canada in probably about a month or so. They should be up sometime next month. They're called very officially the straight stitch quilted octagonal placemats, but here we just refer to them as the octomats, which
Oh, that's a good thing. Okay, because then always I will do a, when we're ready, you know, when it's loaded on Janome.CA and we're ready to promote it, I'll always do a Janome Life blog post, and then we'll do posts on our Janome Canada social media. So I'm going to call them the Octo placemats. So
no,
then
just
everyone will
octomat.
know.
Just so
Yes,
it's
or
just
Octomat.
octomat,
Yeah.
so it sounds kind of like a superhero. That's what I like about it. But
Yeah. So then everyone will know to look. And then, yes, here it
so here
is.
are
Whoop,
our pretties, and I'm going to
there.
kind of move back a little bit so that you can see that. We did a pair of them because we used charm squares, and so that allowed us to do a couple of them. And we're going to rotate it around so you can see all those pretty corners. And what I really want to emphasize, and I'm going to throw it over to Michael when I'm done going through some of my favorite things, is that this is super beginner friendly. And I always tell people, you know, Sew4Home, we have tons of great stuff. We are super great folks all around, but we're not necessarily quilting experts. There are so many people out there that are just incredible when it comes to all things quilting. So the niche that we tend to put ourselves in is like really interesting projects that are patchwork projects, but we do our best to make them absolutely beginner friendly. So when you go through the steps that we have for this and the pictures that we have for it, it is going to take you every step of the way. So obviously, those of you out there that are pros, you're going to look at this and go, oh, okay, that's half square triangles, and I'll do this, this, and this, and there we go. But if you've never done it, it is super easy, but you're going to come out with something that's very unique. And so we're going to show you how to cut everything so it's nice and even and everything goes together beautifully, and show you how to stack it and stitch it, and then show you how to do the quilting. And we did do something a little more unusual. I'm going to keep peeking out from behind my placemat here, and maybe you can even see it a little bit more on the back here. You can see that we divided the placemat into 4 quadrants, and then we have this right angle quilting on each of the quadrants. And again, in the steps, we're going to show you how to mark that, you know, down to getting the corners just perfect, down to where to put your ruler, where to mark that, and so that you get that perfect spacing of quilting in each of the quadrants. And so again, if you're a beginner, don't be scared of any of this. It's so easy to put together. Maybe if you're teaching someone to sew, this would be a super fun thing for them to do because it's so colorful and bright and fun when they get all done. And even if you're just like a quilting pro, we like to call it, I was actually telling Michael earlier, I kind of call it like a little bit of a palette cleanser. So you've got your amazing complex quilt projects that you're working on. Do something like this just for fun in between. You could whip it out in just an afternoon. It's so easy. Now, the one thing that I love about this, which may seem intimidating, especially if you are beginners, are these corners, because it is an octagon. There's 8 of them. So what we did is we used a fusible thread in the bobbin. So when you wrap it and fold it, it does such an incredible job of being able to hold that corner fold, press it, and then you can get your beautiful stitch in the ditch all the way around, and these gorgeous sharp corners, enough to just impress all your friends. Look at that. So they're so fun. So our samples and everything that will be online will show you kind of how to put it together from charm squares. But of course, you know, anything that you have in your scrap stash would be just as wonderful. But one of the things that we always like to stress, and I think working with Michael on these lives is a great opportunity to show you the different presser feet that will make it so much easier to go through everything. It's always like we get that bag of feet that come with it, and it's like, "Meh, set that off to the side. Don't worry about that." But if you can take that time, and Janome makes it so easy to change feet, pop one on and off. Take the time to do that, because it really, really does make a difference. And we also have a few that are then specialty feet, which
Oh,
again, not obviously not as expensive as buying a whole new machine, but if you can surround yourself with the proper accessories, oh my goodness, that makes it so much easier and so much better. And you get that real pro finish, even if you're just a beginner. So I know Michael has like completely rearranged his whole area here so that he can
to try to show everything with all these multiple cameras, but yes, because some of our machines, like the CM17, look at all the goodies it comes with. This whole big accessory case, so many extra pressure feet, but there's always more. So that's the wonderful thing about Janome machines, kind of regardless of which one you have, there's always more. They already come with a lot, but there's always more. So little, again, like every other craft and project out there, the right tools for the right job will make it so much easier, faster, more enjoyable, better results. So I will change camera angle here to show you all.
You're so impressive.
There we go. Ooh, not bad. So let me, whoops, get back over here. There we go. So firstly, let's talk about the fusible thread that Liz mentioned. Now, this is, again, very specialized, but go see your Janome dealer. They may very well have this, or again, whatever sewing store is in your town there. It's, again, kind of fuzzy, a little more textured than regular thread, and it literally is fusible. You put this in between layers and then fuse it down, and that will keep your binding in place. So I have had this for about 30 years that I first started in quilting, and my fabulous heroine, Eleanor Burns from Quilt in a Day, this is what Eleanor was showing us how to do to make that stitch in the ditch really accurate on the back side, that you hold your binding in place with this fusible thread. So it really works well. Just sandwich it in between, press it down, and it's good to go, and then you'll do your stitching. So that fusible thread, it's very cool. But yes, as far as, presser feet, that'll make all the difference in the world. Yes, we've got many 1/4 of an inch feet, for example. This one has the little metal guide next to it, so then that'll keep your 1/4 of an inch seam very precise and accurate. Now, there's also a 1/4 of an inch foot, the O foot, as it is. All Janome feet are lettered there. So then that's the O foot. So there's also an O foot without a guide if you don't like having it. But to me, I need all the help I can get. So I like having that metal guide there to keep it nice and accurate. Now, when we were talking about stitch in the ditch, though, or ditch quilting, as Janome calls it, the ditch quilting foot, there is the S foot. Now, this one is for the 7mm machines. I have on my CM17, the 9mm already snapped on. So again, a lot of these specialty presser feet are available for many Janome models. So just double check with your Janome dealer. And the S foot here has, again, it's a snap-on foot. So that's why you need to know, is it a 5mm, 7mm, 9mm? But the S foot has this wonderful metal rudder, as I call it, that literally goes down in the well of your seam. It's like it's parting the seas. And that way your needle is coming up behind it. So then your stitch in the ditch will be so accurate in that ditch because of that big metal rudder. So it really, really works well. Now, don't confuse it with, it's similar to our G foot, which is the blind hem foot that comes with many machines. Again, it's got a similar center rudder there, but this one, the S foot, is, you'll see it's much longer. So it does, and then that way there's no little metal in the middle of the foot as there is with the G foot. The little metal there, and the G foot's in the middle to do your blind hem. So they're similar but different. So that the S foot does not come with any Janome machine. It is an optional foot. So again, double check with your Janome dealer, but it works out so well. I have it here on my CM17. And when we do this stitch quilting, again, it's just going to go straight down in that ditch. So simple, so easy to do. Now, if you're going through multiple layers, you can also lengthen your stitch, and that's going to help improve your results as well, to go through all those layers. Now, I purposely stitched in red thread so you would see it a little. But if you were in matching thread, and if you were sewing at a better angle than I am, that would go totally in the ditch. I don't know, can you see? Again, I purposely use red so you could see it a little bit, but then again, if you use matching thread, you would not see it at all. And when you're sewing this, you want to keep the edge of your seam right up against that metal fence. You'll see I've got the bulk of my seam allowances here pressed to the left. So that way as well, when you're doing this stitch in the ditch quilting, you're only going through that one layer of fabric. Now, if you were going to go through more layers, though, again, we've got multiple options here. Ooh, like our fabulous AccuFeed Flex foot. This is the dual or twin holder here with the regular AD foot. Now, this, again, is like an upper set of feed dogs. So with our AccuFeed Flex foot and our AccuFeed foot for the 7700 and the 6600, there is this ditch quilting foot, specifically a foot to go onto that foot holder. So this is the SD, again, for ditch quilting, with that same center rudder there that you will go down, in between the well of that seam. So that will totally help quilt through. If you want to do this on your binding, let's say, and again, do that stitch in the ditch, you've used your fusible thread to hold your binding down, and then now you're going to stitch in that ditch to hold down your binding. Then again, you could use this AccuFeed Flex foot with your dual twin holder. They just snap on and off very easily. So then that would be a great option to finish your binding as well. So again, there's lots of options available to you. So let's bring Liz back. Yes.
And you've got some narrow feet there. We did use
yes,
as well on getting.
Yes, I wondered if you would have used these, because these are really fabulous in that, again, when we want to do more narrow seam, like tote bags, especially when we're trying to get into smaller areas, but even to do your echo quilting, for example, if you want that perfect 1/4 of an inch, and even if you would like to use this foot for your piecing, this is the HP2 AccuFeed Flex foot with, again, that perfect 1/4 of an inch. So use it for piecing, or again, you could just line up your stitching against the edge of the foot, and it's going to be a perfect 1/4 of an inch from the needle. So that is a good option for either piecing or quilting. Now, some people confuse the HP2, and luckily Janome is always, they're getting very wise now. They're labeling everything. So HP2, we know this is the professional grade AccuFeed Flex foot holder. And it looks similar to, this is the narrow or single AccuFeed Flex foot holder, but it is slightly different in that this is the VD foot that is standard on this foot holder. And this one is a more like kind of generous 1/4. Now this, yes, you could still use it for piecing, but then this, especially, again, those tight areas, tote bags, or again, to do your quilting. I've done so much quilting where I just have the edge of my seam line up against the side of the foot here. So it's a great consistent, again, it's about like a generous 1/4 of an inch. But the cool thing about this VD foot, or this single AccuFeed Flex foot holder, we can take that foot off. Now this foot comes with our fabulous top of the line Continental M7 and M17, but it's also available as a separate accessory for those machines, 9mm machines, that are AccuFeed Flex compatible. And you can get this great ED zipper foot to go with it. And again, we've got the advantage of those upper feed dogs by using this single foot holder here. So now we could get the single foot holder, and then we could get the ED foot to go with it. And this is fabulous to use. Ooh, zippers, tote bags, thicker layers, or knits. If you have been deathly afraid, it is, I must admit, thank you. It is beautiful. But again, Janome helped a great deal. Sure, I guided the machine and everything, but again, I was so pleased not only putting in the zipper in this knit hoodie that I made, but then again, when I did this top stitching as well, using that narrow foot of the AccuFeed Flex foot, there is not one ripple in this stitching. The zipper itself, you will often see, especially garments that aren't, you know, kind of inexpensive, you know, cheaper thing, you'll see the zipper, you know, pulls. You'll see the knit fabric will pull up and around the zipper because they haven't used a foot like an even feed foot or a dual feed foot or an AccuFeed Flex foot. You'll see all those ripples of that zipper tape, which is woven. It'll pull that knit fabric up. So this, with your dual feed, manual dual feed, or even feed, or the AccuFeed Flex foot, you do not get that at all. So again, that VD and ED foot for the single AccuFeed Flex foot holder there. This is what made that zipper application beautiful. Then when it came to, oh yes, everything, even in knits, again, I chose red thread, so it actually kind of blends into the gray, but I did a little bit of accent in red. But then you can see the stitching line. I did edge stitching on absolutely everything. Every seam is edge stitched. And again, on knit fabrics, no problem, because you can move your needle position over and use one of your feet, whichever one you choose. Maybe it's your, again, ditch quilting foot, or maybe it's even your G foot. I love using this foot for edge stitching. And what I do is I move my needle position over to 1.0, so the needle is to the left of that little metal guide that's in the middle. So move the needle over to 1.0, and it sits right here, about 1/8 of an inch from that little rudder in the middle. And that will give you this perfect guide as you run that metal guide along the well of your seam. Your needle's over here to the left, and that'll give you this perfect guide for edge stitching. So there's so many different, or again, you could use your zipper foot. So here is center needle position with your zigzag needle plate in. Then you can move your needle over here to the left. So you could use this foot to do your edge stitching. So there's always another option to help you get those wonderful results. And what especially I like about edge stitching garments, everything, all the seams here, all the seams are laying flat. So as you're wearing it, as you're washing it, all the seams are going to stay in position. They're not going to be flipping and twisting, and it'll be much more comfortable, much more flattering on your body, easier, you know, maintenance for washing, and looks really good. So again, your presser feet will definitely make all the difference in the world for your success.
That is so true. And, I've run into a lot of people who, for whatever reason, they almost give up on sewing after they've done,
Mm,
when they've been frustrated by a couple projects. And 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, it's like they're having a problem with their machine, or they haven't taken the time to try and use
yes.
the right foot for the job. It makes so much sense. And like you said, there's, any other kind of activity or hobby that you're working in. Of course, there's special. Oh, and look, we've got a FedEx.
Oh,
But
maybe it's some sewing goodies. Yeah.
no, I don't think so. But, knives in the kitchen, if you're a knitter,
Mm,
the right kind of needles for each technique that you're doing. So it's the same thing. Use the right presser foot and it will make all the difference in the world. And so, like Michael said, these cutie pies will be up on Janome Canada very, very soon. And it'll be I think it's kind of a fun springtime project, don't you? They're bright, they're
oh,
colorful.
absolutely.
Everybody ends up with, those little bits of fabric. And like I said, we used a charm pack, but you can cut your own 5-inch squares and put them all together. This is from Lori Holt's flea market collection. And so with something like this, to be able to have some of the more petite prints is kind of fun, so look for those in your scrap stash, or pull out something like her flea market collection really had some beautiful little petite prints and all kinds of fun colors. And that was one of the most fun parts of putting it all together, was kind of mixing and matching those colors so that they're beautiful within each mat, but then mat to mat to mat, they also kind of coordinate. So you have a real pretty tabletop for spring.
Oh, and I think it would be a great scrap buster, stash
Yeah,
buster for
for
those,
sure.
seasoned quilters that they've got the big fabric stash. And so many of us too, especially charm square packs, we pick them up, fall in love
Because
with
they're so
them,
cute. I know.
don't know when to use them. This is perfect for that.
This is perfect. And
So all of it will be up on Janome Canada website, Janome.CA. It'll be under the Inspire tab, and then click that, and then it says Sew4Home, and click on that, and then that'll take you to all the projects, not only the current ones, but all previous projects there as well. So as soon as again our fabulous marketing guru Alan gets it all out, then again I'll do a Janome like blog, and then we'll do some posts on our Janome Canada social media to let you all know, okay,
yeah,
yes, your Octomats are there
so
for then
Octomat.
you to download. And again, perfect time for spring, and we can't wait for spring.
Oh my gosh, this
Oh,
is. I had to, like I said, I did have to close the window behind me, but this is the first sunny day that we have had here in the Pacific Northwest for like ever. So
yes, I feel it.
I'm going to be
Yeah,
done here and I'm going outside. But so if we talk a little about spring sewing, and we've mentioned it a little bit to you guys, but we
another
have a
sneak peek.
super
Yeah.
great event coming up. What do you want to tell them about it? I don't know how much we can say and how much we want to be sneaky about, but it's
Oh,
pretty
yes.
exciting.
Well, it's also, there's still a lot of planning to go too.
Oh,
But yes, we have actually finalized some more details, and more, of course, will be coming, but more details. Speaking of spring, that yes, May 5th and 6th, which is a Friday and a Saturday, May 5th and 6th, the fabulous Liz Johnson will be joining us live and in
woo.
person at the Janome Sewing and Learning Center in Oakville. And this will be the first time that we have welcomed anyone big into our office space,
Oh
since
dear.
COVID. Yeah, so lots of pressure here
I
because,
know.
again, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And, we didn't want to do anything while COVID was still, rearing its ugly head. And even though it's still kind of out there, it's definitely much more safe for people to get together and
Sure.
travel. And so if everyone's comfortable, you could choose to wear a mask if you wish.
Sure.
But yes, we're thrilled to open the doors to the Sewing and Learning Center. And Liz will be coming up May 5th for a trunk show of all the fabulous, or many of, the fabulous Sew4Home projects that we have been featuring here on Janome Canada and in our lives, you know, that you can see them in person, see Liz in person, and we'll do like a trunk show of ideas to inspire you, and you know, things that you know, it's much better to feel it and see it, and you can look inside all the tote bags and get all excited. So that's going to be Friday the 5th of May from 6:30 till 8.
6:30 to 8. Yeah.
Yeah, so not too late. So, you know, people can go and have dinner and then come to the Sewing and Learning Center in Oakville, and we'll have a meet and greet with Liz, and then again, trunk show, ask questions, and again, wrap up at around 8 o'clock. So then you're not there too late. And then the next day, and then of course we'll have, you know, door prizes and little
we're bringing all
goodies.
kinds of fun stuff. Yeah.
Yes. So there'll be a little bit of everybody there. So then on the 6th of May, Saturday, then from 10 till 4, we have a full day of sewing on the CM17. So if you are curious about that machine, yes, we'll be sewing on the CM17s, but the main thing is we're going to be learning a lot of the techniques that Sew4Home has presented to us in all of our, again, our lives that we've been doing, or on the Janome Life blog. We post like the mini tips and a lot of information. So we're going to be doing this whole techniques workshop.
Kind of like a skill building, and things where you'll actually get hands-on, get to try some of the techniques, get to make little mini techniques, you know, make a little tiny adjustable strap that you can take.
Yes, exactly.
And then we'll have, you know, handouts. So it's like you don't have to write everything down or anything like that. So you have some handouts to take with you, but actually getting to do them. And we're picking out the kind of techniques that you can use on so many different things. So that will really make it fun and flexible. So you have all kinds of fun ideas that you can use on your next project.
Yes, exactly. So that's why we decided, instead of making a specific project, then we would focus on techniques that you could use on whatever then project you're going to do. So you'll do a little bit of sewing, you'll do a little bit of embroidery, of course, because we're using the CM17. So then we'll provide all the materials and everything. So you don't need to worry about fabric and thread and all of that. We're going to provide that all for you. And then, yes, there's going to be more giveaways and more goodies and everything. So we will be releasing more of that information online. It'll be on our Janome.CA site, and again, our social media, and of course, Janome Life blog. And then everyone can write me classes at Janome-Canada.com. So then when it comes to, yes, you would like more information, or again, when we get everything all ready and then, you know, post it out there, as far as all the specifics of the, you know, time and cost and all of that kind of stuff, all the details will be there. And then you can then write me classes at Janome-Canada.com to then sign up and register, particularly for the trunk show is open to everyone. You know, if we run out of seats, then you could just lean against somebody, maybe, or lean up against one of the machines that's going to be there. So that's okay. So if we run out of seats for the trunk show, not a problem. But then for the sewing class on May 6th, Saturday, May 6th, we only have 6 CM17s, which means we are capping it off at 12 participants, 2 per machine, because then we've got a lot of techniques to get through. So in order for everyone to get hands-on experience doing these techniques, we've got to limit it to 12 participants for the hands-on sewing class. So definitely, if you're interested, write me and say, I want my spot.
I know, sign up right away. And it's a little bit of a test for us too. I mean, we haven't done anything like this, so we're hoping that people, if you are interested, please let us know right away so that we can plan for that. And, you know, if it goes as well as we hope it will, then we'll be able to do more in the future. And
yes, exactly. Oh,
So,
yes, it'll be so exciting. And this is it's certainly been the goal for the Sewing and Learning Center, is to have hands-on classes. I had a
right.
Sew with the CM17 event in November. It was, again, our first one, opened the doors finally after all of this lockdown and everything. But then also, too, to have speakers and, guest lecturers, so we can do these trunk shows of not, just quilts, but all these home deck projects and
Right.
garments and everything. I'd
Mhm.
love to have artisans everywhere, come in, and that way, again, inspire us all, and just so we can get more from our Janome machines.
That's right.
Just very quickly, we do have questions. Can you go to this if you already have the M17? Well, yes, of course. Anyone can sign up for the sewing portion of the event on May 6th. Again, you don't have to have a CM17. It's just those are the machines that we have there for everybody to use. But the projects then you can do really on any machine. So
Right.
yes, you can. Anyone can have the machine. And then, are you going to show so people that are far away can see it? Well, I'm
We're
thinking
trying to figure
the
that out.
yes, exactly. I'm thinking the trunk show portion of it. Maybe we'll try to record and everything. The class itself, there'll probably be a fee for that class to cover the materials and everything. So that I don't think then we would show unless people were to sign up and all that. So those are the kind of details we're still working on. But more to be released later. So, and then I saw back. Oh, and Lisa said, "Oh no, I'm in Jamaica." I think that's so cute. So
Oh
yes,
no, I'm in Jamaica.
I know. I wish we could move the Sewing and Learning Center to Jamaica. That would be lovely,
Yes.
particularly in winter. So yes, the Janome Sewing and Learning Center is in Oakville, Ontario. We're about maybe 40 minutes west of Toronto. So again, obviously we know people from out west and out east probably aren't going to make it, although why not? But it's so anyone who's within the Oakville vicinity, again, you are Google our address, go to Janome.CA, and then, or again, write me for more information, and then we'll come in there for in-person events.
I'm super excited because, of course, being out here on the Pacific Northwest, all we ever do is we just go straight up, So if we're going to go to Canada, we're going to Vancouver, BC, or
Yeah.
we're going up to Victoria or something like that. So this is going to be the farthest east I've ever been. So I'm super excited.
Oh, well, yes, we're certainly very
Yeah.
excited to have you there too. Yes, are you going to be at Quilt Canada in June? Well, I will be. I don't know, Liz, that you're going to be. It's in
No.
Halifax, actually, but I'm very excited for that because I've only been out east a couple of times before. So I'm very excited. Quilt Canada in June will be out in Halifax. So yes, Janome will be there. Janome Canada will be there. I will be there. So it'll be very, very fun. And
Yeah.
yes. So yes, and as far as again things online and all of that, again we're working out details like that because then yes, we realize not everyone can come to the Janome Sewing and Learning Center for all of the classes and the events that we're hoping to have there. So we're looking at what could we provide online. Not everything will be able to be online, but just what can we do. So yeah, we haven't forgotten about you all out there online either. So yes, thank you so much, Liz Johnson. Thank you everyone else for joining us. We must get going and let Liz get on with her day. And thank you everyone for joining us. And
Thank you
next
so much.
month, what was it, April 20th?
April 20th. Yes, April
Yes.
20th, Thursday.
3 p.m. is our regular time. So again, if we need to tweak it a little bit, we'll let you know. But thank you everyone for joining us today. And we will see you all next month.
All right. Bye-bye,
Lovely.
everybody.
Thank you so much, Liz. It's wonderful to see you. Thank you, everyone. Have a
Have a
wonderful
great
day.
day. Bye.
Bye.